Welcome, one and all, to the mystical world of Filbar. Adventures abound throughout this realm, and we appreciate the opportunity to regale you with some stories from these trails. These accounts are all based on actual RPG experiences that occurred within Adventures in Filbar. Some of these tales may be for mature audiences, while others may be for very immature audiences. We now present the sage Mikas Tumo from Tamel, also known as the Bard of Filbar.
Welcome to session Fartook-96. Last time in Filbar, Sister Elaine joined Investigator Rockfist and her mom for a late meal while the others found themselves in a tavern. While attempting to get some food, they noticed that Meebles, the innkeeper, came in and was looking suspicious and appeared to be searching for someone. Our group was hidden away in a corner and were able to observe the suspicious businessman make contact with a cloaked figure. While attempting to identify the other party, Karina was spotted and revealed. A magic spell was put in a magical trance, and she was thrown as a missile weapon at the rest of the group, who came in trying to help. A bar fight ensued with a strange third-party individual fleeing and Meebles getting knocked out. Fargus and Cabe gave chase while the other three engaged the bar patrons. A well-timed web spell from Lady Irena caused the fight to fizzle and men attempted to locate the duo. We rejoin the trio as they give chase. I don't know. Looking around frantically, the threesome could not determine which way Cabe and Fargus had chased the cloaked figure. Split up, they yelled at each other, and each went a separate way. As the trio each ran at breakneck speed, they eagerly sought out their associates. I think we're gaining, huffed out a tired Fargus Stoutheart as he and Cabe began to close the gap. Looking back, the cloaked figure overturned a large stack of boxes, spreading out obstacles in their path. Both males attempted to dodge the cascading containers, giving back the lead to the cloaked figure, who zipped around a corner. Struggling through the maze of boxes, a pair of guards spotted the chase and began their own pursuit. The Bard and Ranger ran around the corner, capturing the flittering of fabric down an alley. They again began to close the gap and noticed the individual pull forth a wand and aim it at them. "Duck!" yelled out Cabe Silvertongue, and both men hit the dirt as the wand went off, sending a glimmering stream of stars towards them and over their heads. The men glanced behind them and noticed that the two guards had been pursuing them and were both struck by the beam of light. As the adventurers watched, the two guards quickly began to shrink and turn into two toads. The Delvers looked back at each other and smiled before jumping back to give chase. A block ahead, they spotted the cloaked figure kick in a door and rush inside a building. Slowing at the open doorway, the men peeked in before hearing the suspect crashing through the building with reckless abandon. Both heroes charged into the darkness, crashing into a variety of things on their own, and quickly figuring out that they were in the tailor shop. Light entered the doorway as the suspect opened and exited the building, and Cabe burst through quickly but knocked over a small rack in the process. As Fargus attempted to charge through the doorway, the rack fell over and dumped a patch of white sackcloth over his head, and he stumbled into the street. A passerby shrieked, "Ghost!" and fainted just as Lady Irena came running by. Spotting Cabe ahead and the spirit, she grabbed the cloth, spinning Fargus around. Getting his bearings again, he now found himself at the back of the chase. The trio were starting to gain and close in on the cloaked figure at the intersection when a woman with a bustling chest came around the corner on a unicorn. The cloaked figure darted left as the rider and mounts reached to a halt. Cabe nearly ran into the large animal and noticed the ample bosom of the woman before realizing it was Karina. Hi, he sputtered out as Lady Irena yelled, "Get back on track, you ass," as she ran past him. Karina jumped off the unicorn and also gave chase as the struggling Fargus arrived, heaving loudly. He jumped onto the creature and attempted to get it moving again. With Irena, Cabe, and Karina running down the road, they spotted people diving out of the way except for one squat gnome who was coming from the other direction. Behind him, a quartet of guards were running to try and catch him. The cloaked figure spotted the problem and moved right towards another building. Kicking open the door, the suspect ran through a long residence back towards the back door. Irena, Cabe, Karina, and Bulger, along with the guards, poured into the residence as Fargus extended his jaunt and went into the alley to cut off the suspect if they got out the back door. Jumping over furniture that the suspect was pushing over, the party saw their quarry run down a hallway and take a frying pan to the face. Stepping into the light was a dwarf wearing an apron holding a skillet. The suspect, flat on his back, whipped out the wand and said some arcane words. A lightning bolt erupted from the wand and headed straight for the dwarf's head, but she quickly moved the skillet in front of her face, causing the bolt to ricochet back at the cloaked figure. The lightning smashed into the suspect's head and left a smoking hole where the face should have been. The back door flew open and the dwarf whirled around to address the new threat, which turned out to be a panting Fargus and a black unicorn. Party members and guards clamored down the hall, and Mama Rockfist demanded to know who everyone was. Looking to one side, Fargus noticed the stunned looks of the investigator and Sister Elaine, who still had a biscuit in her mouth. As recognition set in, the flaky pastry fell from her mouth. "Someone better start telling me something, or so help me Dilo, I'm not done bashing heads." Rockfist jumped to her feet, causing the guards to straighten up, and everyone leaned over the smoking remains of the cloaked figure. "Who is it? Who is it?" clamored everyone. Mama Rockfist lifted up the cloak and pointed out that it was a she. Mouths hung open in shock of the events, and Sister Elaine looked to each of her associates. "I have 2 questions," she asked. "Why is Metallica in the house? And why are your ladies hanging out, Karina?" The waif quickly readjusted her clothing, and Fargus escorted the unique mount outside. Cabe grabbed the magic wand and confirmed that the prey was deceased. Rockfist looked to Sister Elaine and sipped on a frothy mug of ale. "Well, this should be good," she mused. Cabe, Karina, Bulger, and Fargus, along with all the guards, then began to explain what had happened, and the cacophony of versions were all blurted out at once. Mama Rockfist reached into the cabinet and pulled out a jug with some type of alcohol and downed it as everyone explained their vantage point of what had transpired. Rockfist reached over and also took a long pull from the jug, and Sister Elaine, rubbing her temples, also grabbed the jug and took a long pull as the sordid tale of events began to pour out of everyone's lips.
We close out this episode now and give you our thanks for listening. Please subscribe to this podcast and don't forget to follow us on Twitter at The Bards Podcast. For everyone in Adventures of Filbar, thanks for listening.